Welcome back to the Paul Drockton radio program in my website, Dead Man Musings, where you will find fithuman.net. It's a great way to get healthy, my friends, fithuman.net. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this. So bottom line is this, is the goal is to destroy all religions. Doesn't matter what you believe in. And that's what basically Pike is saying here. He says that without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer brought finally out in public view. This manifestation will result from the general revolutionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. So guess what? They're not atheists, okay? Communists are atheists. So this battle is designed to destroy Christianity, atheism, Judaism, Islam, and replace it with the doctrines of Luciferianism, which is what Albert Pike really believed in. This is what the mafia believes in at the top levels. This is what all the secret combinations believe in at the top levels. This is what they're working towards. The reason I'm explaining this to you is I want to get back to this WikiLeaks. As I said before, nothing before the election. Now, all of a sudden, we've got 394,000 documents that are dumped on the public. Now, let me explain how hard that is to do. This guy is in Holland, all right? Back in May, they had the founder of WikiLeaks for a rape charge, which they dropped. Now, compare and contrast that with David Dees, who's also in Holland. David Dees is the guy who illustrates for Renz and for other websites. He's the one whose pictures you see up there. David Dees has been gang stalked. He's been harassed. He's had people come into his home at night and literally move things around to let him know they were there. And he's being forced to flee Holland for a few political cartoons. On the other hand, you have a guy, the founder of WikiLeaks, that's going around dumping almost 400,000 classified documents, saying there's going to be more. Now, I wrote an article about this dump on Friday, and I said, mark my word, this is going to be followed by an announcement from Al-Qaeda threatening to attack American cities. Remember, I said that. And I was right, because what happened? Sunday, we get an announcement made by an individual who is portrayed as a American that turned on his country and now represents Al-Qaeda. And it turns out this individual has a father who sat on the board of the ADL. So the point being is, isn't it interesting that David Dees is literally pushed out of the country for a few political cartoons on one hand, and you got a guy who's supposedly a serious intelligence threat that's permitted to walk around and just dump these intelligence documents. And doesn't that make you just a little bit suspicious? Well, let me explain what they're doing. Their goal, by dumping these intelligence documents, is basically to create anger and animosity between the West and between Islam. That's what it's all about. And the people that live in Iran and Iraq and everywhere else are being set up for a war and for the invasion of Iraq, which I guarantee you will take place after this election. And they're not going to wait a long time, my friends. They're not going to wait a long time. They're already laying the groundwork. And so the next step for them, first came the document dump, then came the announcement. Next is going to come the false flag attacks. And notice in the announcement they talked about the city of Detroit, which I explained I saw on Vision being victimized by a dirty bomb. Now think about this. If they take out New York, what's going to happen to all these financial records that exist? What's going to happen to all these paper transactions if they take out the financial district in New York? If that's their target, which to me it makes sense, then it would be so easy then to just bring the economy down on everybody's heads and make it look like this country's been destroyed by Islamic fundamentalism. So here's my point. You need to prepare and make sure that over the next couple of weeks that you've got food, that you've got water, that you've got clothing, that you've got faith, that you got gold, that you got silver, because they're not going to come out with the new world currency. Their goal is to literally destroy all nations. Now, it's interesting that they should have this goal, and it's interesting that they are permitted to go forward with their objectives, because if you read in the Bible, I believe it's in Psalms, I could be wrong, verse chapter 2, the Psalms, it talks about how the Lord would literally just bring an end to all nations, that he would literally permit all nations to be destroyed and literally fragmented like a potter's vessel, and then he would rule over all nations with a rod of iron. Now, I believe that he's going to permit these Satanists to do their dirty work because God permits the wicked to destroy the wicked. And when they bring down all of these governments and all these societies through war, because we're going to all be in the same situation Russia was in, resources devoted to conflict, hunger at home, riots going on, civil disorder. This is all coming. This is what they want, because their goal is to have us destroy each other. Remember, they only make up 1% of the population, so if they just came out and declared open war, then, you know what, we could wipe them off the map. So what are they doing? They're building bunkers underground, just like the one in Salt Lake City, where they're going to hide, and they're going to think that the only thing that's going to be harmed in all this is the surface and people on the surface, when in reality, God has plans for them too. And I've seen earthquakes, I've seen underwater channels diverted, and everything that they build is going to be destroyed, and they will be destroyed with it, because this is the end of nations, my friends. That's where this is going. If you read the book of Revelation, it talks about this war literally wiping out 1/3 of the population, and it talks about other judgments being poured out. And all I'm trying to tell you is this, is that you need to get ready. You need to take this seriously. You need to look at everything that's going on. And I think you'll realize that my conclusions are solid. And then you need to pray. Make sure you're right with God. Make sure your family's right with God. Get rid of the poisons in your home. Get rid of the pornography. Get rid of the other things that just suck your spirit out. And all they do is bring confusion, and all they do is bring sorrow. And literally just get right with God, because he's the only one that's going to get you through this. And now I'm going to tell you again, gold and silver are going to be the only currency. There will be no other currency that will be accepted. It will be gold or it will be silver. And the reason why it will have value is because you're going to want to buy things when you need them from other individuals or barter with them. And you take silver or gold to someone, farmer, let's say, that happens to have some excess crops in storage, then you'll be able to buy food. You'll be able to buy ammunition. You'll be able to buy guns. You're going to be able to do other things as well that you're not going to be able to do if you give all your money to these satanic psychopaths. So get the heck out. Opt out of the system. Take your resources away from these guys. They're just going to steal everything from you like they've done up to this point. Nothing's going to change. You know, a leopard doesn't change its spots. It is what it is. And if they're thieves and they steal trillions of dollars, what makes you think they're going to leave trillions on the table? They're going to clean out everything, my friends. They're going to clean out your 401k. They're going to clean out your IRA. They're going to clean out everything that they have access to, everything that's based on the dollar.